Hey everyone, I'm Jack, and I teach regular people how to travel or live abroad on any budget. In the past 2 years, I've lived in 3 different countries. And in this video, which is part of an ongoing series where I interview regular people just like you and me who have lived abroad to find out their experience and learn more from their lessons. In this video, I talked to Lucia from Spain about her time living abroad in Hungary, and she's also lived abroad in 2 other places as well. So let's take the lessons that she learned and help us to learn a little bit more. So I'd say especially for the first time that when you left your country to live somewhere else, like
Yeah.
what kind of inspired that? What made you think that you wanted to go somewhere else outside of your own country?
Spain is very good, but it's everything the same. I mean, I
Okay.
feel like home everywhere I go. So I wanted something different. I didn't want to go to Italy. I didn't want to go to Portugal, that are quite similar. I wanted to go somewhere in the east, like quite different. I went to Hungary
Hmm.
for doing my Erasmus, and life was very different from here. I mean, not too many
Hmm.
lights in the day, and yeah, but very cool.
Okay.
And but yeah,
And
I wanted to do something different. I wanted, yeah.
that makes
It's
sense. So you were seeking out to like experience something new. It wasn't
yeah.
you didn't want something that was just going to be exactly the same. I feel like a lot of people when they go somewhere new like that, a lot of people can be like afraid or have some fears. Was there any fears that you had like when you first arrived there or before you got there? Was there anything you were worried about that you think
I
might?
was I was worried that my culture didn't fit with their culture. That was my
Okay.
first worry. And also because the language is Hungarian, and I know how to speak English and Spanish, but I didn't know if they were good at English, but they were.
Hmm. Okay.
So
So you're able to easily enough communicate in English while
yeah.
you were okay. Uh yeah, so you mentioned that you were worried that like your culture would clash with theirs. Did
Yeah.
you notice anything that was a big cultural difference between your home and being there in Hungary?
Yeah, I did. I think that here in Spain we are like very close, and like
Okay.
once we start setting a conversation, we are like we know you from before,
Hmm.
and they are like much more polite. They like maintain more the distance between each other, and that was like a little bit. I had to get used to that because I'm not used to being like that cold, saying
Yeah.
something. And yeah, that was the first thing because I feel like they are much colder than what we are, how we are.
Okay, that makes sense. And do you feel like you started to adapt more to how they were? Did you feel you were becoming a little more cold, or do you think the people around you started to like adopt how you were acting?
I think the second one, I didn't change my personality when I was
Yeah.
there. Probably the second one because the first, for sure, not.
Okay. Sounds good. Um, I guess like also when it comes to the daily life of being in a different country, did you realize you had to change any of your like daily habits? Was there something that like you couldn't do that you could normally do in home that maybe you missed, or just something that was different about living there in the daily life?
Being honest, I miss parties in Spain. Parties,
Okay.
how we do them in Spain, because there, here in Spain, we are used to start the party at 2 a.m. and finish
Uh-huh.
at 8. Um, and there we had to go to the party like 7, and then it was done like 3, and it's more or less that when we start partying
Yeah.
in Spain. That was what I miss the most. Apart from that, you could do everything
Okay.
you were used to do in your host country. You could do it in the other one.
Okay. That makes sense. And that's probably good to hear for a lot of people. Um, I guess when it comes down to like any advice you would give someone, say you were talking to yourself like before you left there, or if there's anything that you would do different that you feel like maybe was a mistake. Like if I was gonna go, say in 2 months to go live there, what would you tell me as some advice or something you would do?
Don't think much about it. Just do it. I would say that because I feel like if you start putting things in the balance and disadvantage, advantage, you will like think a lot that when you go there,
Hmm.
things are really easy. I mean,
Okay.
you are going to need some months to adapt, but life is going to be, and you are going to start knowing new people, and even though you are not going to be at home, you will feel at home.
Okay. That's really good to hear because yeah, I think a lot of people get worried that like it's just gonna be horrible and or like they're gonna miss every single thing from home. So it's good to hear that you also said like a lot of the things are still similar. Of course, there's differences that you'll experience, but like just to kind of go and go for it, try it out. Um, I guess the only other question I would have for you then is, do you feel like there was any specific lessons or something that you were taught from living abroad, living in a different country that maybe you don't feel like you learned at home? It was something that you learned while you were away there?
Mm, well, it's not that I things I learned, but my
Mhm.
personality changed. I start to be more independent
Okay.
and start to do things by myself. That before, if I had to go to the bank, I had to tell my dad or my mom, come with me. And if when you're there, you start to do things by yourself, and that you can really do them. You don't need
Yeah.
that support that you really search when you are at home.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think it shows people when you're in another country when you literally don't have the option for someone else to help you with it. You kind of have
Yeah,
to learn to do that on
totally.
your own. That makes a lot of sense.
When I moved, I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know. I was like a kid, and then you have to like mature, and you realize that you know to do more things than what you think.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a lot of thing that's a thing that not a lot of people think about before they go, but
Yeah,
definitely once you return, because even in my
yeah,
own experience living in another country, you got to figure out a lot of stuff. And although it could sound scary, it definitely helps you in your life, I feel like.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that the key is not to be afraid and not think about it and just do it. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's all the questions I really had for you. Just wanted to see what your experience was like in another country. So hopefully someone else who might be thinking about it could watch it and hear your experience and maybe feel a little better about their own. So thank you for taking the time to record this with me. But yeah, that's all the questions I had for you.
Thank you, Jack.
I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a little bit from what Lucia had to say in this video. If you did, definitely get subscribed as we'll be making more videos like this and other styles as well. And if you want to learn more directly from me, you could join my free WhatsApp community, which is linked down in the description. If you've lived abroad and you'd also want to come on this show, just send me an email to hello@jacksataro.com and we can work out a time to get you on and explore your experience living abroad. Thanks for watching. Bye.